everybody, welcome back to Troy's Hobbies RC. Today on the channel we're going to be unboxing a new little car. It's a new 14th scale basher. This is from MJX. This is my very first MJX car. This is the Hyper Go, the new version 3. It's the H14BM. So it's the H14BM version. There are 3 different versions of this. This is the most current version on the market right now. Alright, so we're going to crack into the box here real quick. This is just a look at the outside of it here, just so you guys can take a look at the artwork. It's really decent artwork, pretty standard print that you find on most RC cars these days. Just basically a basic screen print across the box with some basic information on it. So we'll get everything out of the box, and then we'll take a look at what's inside. Well, after much fussing about with all those boxes, I've still got a lot of bags to go through because they completely loaded me down with parts and spares and extra stuff. There's a look at the vehicle itself. I'm going to get all these bags undone, and that's the next step in the process. Alright everybody, we got most of the things out of the bag that need to come out of the bags. Just go over what we get that is still in the bag, so you know what you get as spares or extras or little modifications you can do. First thing I want to go over is you get an extra wing. You also get a little bit of hardware in there for it to mount it. So if you break your wing off, which on these, like what I call like a monster truggy style truck, where it's basically a basher but it has a wing on it. These wings are incredibly vulnerable, but it is what it is. If it breaks, it breaks. We have a spare. That's cool. Second thing, this is an important bag. This is the cool thing that I think is, to me, the extra feature for this truck, or one of the extra features, one of the many. And that's this bag of hinge pins. There's an extra wheel nut in there, some hardware, but then you also get an extra set of springs, which are a stiffer spring rate. So you can mod this thing out to have a stiffer suspension. If you want that right out of the box, if you want to set it up for bigger jumps or whatever you're doing that way, you can do that with those stiffer springs. The next bag I'm going to go over is just your basic, it's a bunch of body clips, and then you have your USB charger, your T-wrench, and a basic screwdriver in there. Just a lot of extra body clips in there, which is always a good feature to have on RC cars this small, because when they go tumbling and flipping like this thing's inevitably going to do, you're probably going to lose some body pins. So just beware. That's why they give you a bunch of extras. The next thing is something you have to install on the vehicle yourself, and that is the wheelie bar. It's just a couple of screws with the wheelie bar. You just have to mount it to the back of the vehicle. I'll be doing that here in just a few minutes, and we'll get that put on the car, and that'll be no problem. Next to the last bag, and this is a really important bag as well, they give you a complete set of Hyper Go upper and lower control arms. So if you break an A-arm or an upper control arm, you have all your replacements right there ready to go. I know a lot of guys have complained about these things being brittle, so what I might do is I might spread these down in some WD-40 and let them sit overnight, so that if the stock parts break, these will have hopefully absorbed a little bit of material that makes the, it tends to make plastic like this a little bit more flexible. So you can always try the WD-40 trick. We'll give it a shot on this plastic and see if it works. If not, you know, no harm done. The final bag. Again, something you may want to consider doing the WD-40 trick on is the shock towers and extra body posts. It does feel kind of like a stiffer plastic. So what that means is they don't put a lot of nylon in this plastic. It's just a straight like ABS plastic with very little nylon in it. So it can get brittle. So hopefully the WD-40 trick will work on this car. If not, we've got spares for whenever these break. It is what it is. That's part of RC, guys. You break stuff. Let's go over some of the other stuff that comes in the box. All right. Big important one here. Hyper Go manual. This has all of your parts, your radio setup, your steering and throttle trim setups, your binding, anything that you need to do like that is in this manual. And most importantly, your exploded diagrams and your part numbers. So if you go and you break a part, you come in here and see what it is you broke, and then you come to the back and then you look what part number it was, and then you know exactly what you need to order. Pretty easy to do. If you're new to RC, these are really, really handy. Get used to learning about your user manuals. These things are important. Next I want to talk about here, we'll go ahead and just talk about the controller. It's a basic controller. It's a 2.4 gigahertz controller. It's got, I think it's a 3-channel. Yeah, it looks like it's a 3-channel controller here. Throttle trim, steering trim. You have a throttle limit here. So you have on off, and then you have 75% and 100%. And then you have your channel 3 function down here, which is probably going to control the lights. So it's a pretty basic function controller, nothing too fancy. We're going to run it as is for a little bit, but I do intend on upgrading this in the future to something a little bit more hobby grade and a little bit more in line with what I run with my other vehicles. So we'll run it for a little bit on the stock one, and then once it's time, we'll upgrade the ESC and receiver and all that stuff in this, and we'll make it into something cool. Alright, next thing to talk about here is the battery. This is one of 2 batteries included in the vehicle when you get this package. When you purchase this package, it comes with all these parts, and it does come with 2 batteries. There will be one installed in the car as well. It is a 3S 2000 milliamp. I think it's a lithium ion pack, guys. I don't think it's actually LiPo. I think it's lithium ion, which means it is compatible with a LiPo. So if you wanted to throw LiPo batteries in here, it'll go right into LiPo mode. You just have to make sure it's in 3S mode, and then it's good to go. So yeah, you should be good to go on your 3S LiPos, but lithium ion has plenty of punch and plenty of power on its own, and should result in some pretty impressive speeds out of the box. So that's cool to see. You get 2 batteries right out of the box with this package. Big thumbs up on that one as well. So far we got big thumbs up on the big package of parts, the extra batteries. This is the big one for me personally. The paddle tires. You know, any brand that's willing to send you an extra set of tires intends on you to have a lot of fun with this car. These are really, really sweet paddle tires. I will make one note. When you're opening the bag for these tires, don't lose your little red insert. This little red insert went flying across the room on me, and I almost lost one of them. So make sure you don't lose those. Also, the flat side of the washer here. The flat side, and then the recessed side here, right? The flat side is the back side. That goes into the wheel. The recessed side should face out. What that does is prevents you from under threading the bolt. So make sure you have them facing the correct way, guys. Alright, now we're moving on to the truggy itself. I do call this a truggy. This body style with a wing, with it having diffs, this is a truggy. This is not a monster truck. This is a truggy. It may have monster tires, but it's a truggy. The cool thing is, though, it comes with this extra body. And I do like this gold. I think it's pretty cool. It shines just right. Has some good body protectors up top to, act as a skid guard. So I think this body will hold up pretty well. You shouldn't need to do too much heavy reinforcement to this one. Just the way it lines out. Should be good. Let's go over the tires, shall we? These tires are really, really nice compound. They obviously look like a trencher style tread pattern with the stock ones here. Really nice though. The compound's a little bit firm, but at the speeds this vehicle can go, the firm compound kind of helps it from expanding too much. So it's probably still going to expand a little bit, but with the more firm compound, hopefully it'll keep it from doing that. So let's go ahead and get under the hood of this thing. All right, so we're back to get a bit of an up-close look at the front end of this little buggy. Again, here's a look at the tire compound. Really nice. Here's a look at your steering knuckles in here. Just your typical like block and you know, caster block style deal there. It's nothing crazy you haven't seen before, but they have these really nice beefed up drive shafts. It's like a CVD style drive shaft, and it's also slotted here. If I can get a good shot of it. I can't really get a good shot of it. Alright, there's a good look at those drive shafts, guys. They're really nice. They are integrated into the differential. So if you have to service the differential or you have to do anything like that, you have to get in and take the drive shafts off to do so. It's not too hard. Other companies do this as well. It's a pretty proven design and very strong. So I look forward to seeing how strong those CVD style drive shafts are. There's a look at the shock towers. Again, several screws holding it in here. Very well reinforced. A big screw right here for the center brace. Nice beefy front bumper with some headlights incorporated into it. Nice to see that. And then the shocks are really decent. They're a plastic body shock, but they have metal on either end to capture it, and they seem to be very well damped. Maybe a little soft out of the box, but that's why they provide those stiffer springs. So if you guys want to hit some bigger jumps and things like that with it, it is equipped to do so right out of the box. The oil feels like maybe like 15 or 20 weight. You may want to bump it up to 35 or 40 weight if you're going to go jumping this thing big. So that's pretty much the front end of the truck, you guys. Oh, there is one more little feature I want to talk about before we talk about this, kind of the center part. It actually has a metal bell crank and adjustable toe, but unfortunately that does result in quite a bit of wheel slop. If you could take a look here, that's quite a bit of wheel slop there, but it is what it is. It's a ready to run. These things come like that sometimes. I actually think having a plastic link back here that was fixed would have helped eliminate some of that and be a little bit more durable at the same time. So MJX, on a version 4, if you ever do one, maybe just switch this guy out to a plastic fixed link. Adjustability isn't as important on a basher. You just want some durability back there, and you know, just make it a little more rigid, a little less flexy in the steering. That's my only complaint. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at some of the center section of this vehicle. As you can see, there is the included second battery. Up top here is the, they claim it's a waterproof receiver box. You know, I would say water resistant personally, but that's just me. Here's a look at your big cross brace here in the center. It does go all the way through. It's a single piece cross brace. Really nice and thick. It ties in on each end of the shock towers. So you do have some good bracing there. Let's go ahead and flip it around so we can look at the motor and ESC here. Just a 45 amp ESC here. And then your button here on the side. When you power it up, this is the way you enable the what I would consider boost mode. You hit it 5 times, and then this unlocks basically maximum punch, maximum throttle, all that stuff. And that's basically crazy mode on this car. It basically comes set in training mode, which is basically like a 50% throttle cut. And then you would hit this 5 times, and that gives you 100% across the board. Moving on, here's the motor. I do believe it is, I forget the size of the motor here. Alright, it is a 2852 size 4400 kV brushless motor. So really decent kV, high kV. Just on the edge of being able to take 3S really, and should be really fast. So let's see what this thing can do. The back is much the same as the front. Instead of the bell crank, it just goes straight back into your center diff right here and then connects back into your rear diff. But So look at the rear here. Similar to the front, except for you have the wing mount and then the rear bumper mount back here, which I still have yet to install the wheelie bar. We'll do that here at the end and get that thing all dialed in, and that should be basically it for the truck. The only other thing we really need to take a look at here is the underside of the chassis. Alright everybody, the last part of the video we're going to talk about pretty much is the underside of this vehicle and the differentials and drive shafts. The entire drivetrain in this vehicle is metal, so you get a metal spur, you get metal differentials front and back, and you also get a metal center drive shaft. So I just wanted to cover that and make sure I mentioned that at least once. I think I forgot to mention it when I was going over the middle part of the car. Just so you know, it is an all-metal drivetrain. I do think that there needs to be more grease on those diffs, just based on what I know about ready-to-run cars. If I have to take a major tear down of this vehicle, we'll take an assessment of it then. We're going to run it out of the box as is, and if we run into trouble, we run into trouble. But that's the main thing I wanted to cover about the differentials and the drivetrain. It's all metal, it's all good, should be good and strong. The other thing and the main part of it here is the bottom chassis here. It's a 3mm chassis plate. Good thing about metal is it gets all the weight down low here, and it results in a really good handling vehicle and makes the suspension work very well, makes it compress and rebound really, really well. You have a good look at the solid A-arms here, but you can kind of see the different color to it, and that's why I think you may want to do the WD-40 trick. I don't think there's a lot of nylon in these personally, so maybe throw some WD-40 on those to make them a little bit more flexible. But to finish my statement about the chassis, as you can see, it's all countersunk. Everything's nice and smooth on the bottom. It keeps the weight really low, but if you bash it really, really hard, you can bend these chassis. And once aluminum is bent, it's bent. You really can't really. You can flatten these chassis out a little bit and keep it going a little bit for a while, but if you go to an extreme, they're done, and you have to pretty much get a whole chassis and replace it. Same difference with a plastic chassis. When you break it, you're pretty much in the same boat there. You have to replace it. It's just a part of the hobby. When you're doing big bashing like that at skate parks and things like that, you're taking a big risk bending these things. So you may not see me doing too much skate park bashing with this one. We'll do a little bit, but I'm gonna keep it kind of light and kind of at a normal rate and not too extreme with this little guy. The reason is I want to keep this one a little bit longer, and we're gonna get some other MJX vehicles, and we're gonna kind of do a long-term compare and contrast against their lineup. To kind of test different handling characteristics, different body styles, different modifications and upgrades and things like that we come across over the time that we own them. And I'm really excited to try out this new MJX brand and see what it can bring to the hobby. Obviously, I'd like to see them maybe improve the controller and receiver package that's in this in the future. Upgrade the nylon in the control arms and things like that, because I know it is a known problem. Maybe go to like a fixed style link here to eliminate some of the slop in the steering. It would also, help with some other things like that. It is just a basher for that reason. We're not going to be racing this thing, so fixed links there would be cool. And that's really all I can say about it that I'd like to see fixed up. I think these vehicles are very, very nice. It has an excellent suspension package. I mean, look at that. Yeah, good drop. Nice and soft. Look at that. Bam. That's good suspension. So, I mean, there are a lot of positives to this vehicle. Oh, I almost lost one of those wheel nuts again. But we're going to go ahead and finish up the video for the day, guys. This is your first look at the MJX Hyper Go. That was 75%. Here's 100% right out of the box. Now let's try boost mode. Here we go. Oh boy. I'll hold this back here now. Oh, this thing's gonna rip. So we'll try that out in the field, guys. That's kind of a sample of what kind of power this little car is gonna have. This is a lithium-ion battery too. We can still upgrade the batteries to LiPo, so this will be fun. All right, everybody, that's going to be it for today on the Troy's Hobbies RC YouTube channel. This was the first look at the MJX Hyper Go. This is the newest version of the car, the version 3. I went ahead and put the gold option body out here to close the video. I think this is the version we're going to run it with most of the time. I really like it with the gold and red. It kind of fits my style a little bit. So we're going to get this thing out in the field in a bashing spot, find a place to go run it, and see what this little thing can do. It promises to be a lot of fun, you guys. It's got just the right amount of power, maybe even a little bit overpowered. So we're going to take this thing out in the next few days and see what this thing's got. So that's going to be it for today on Troy's Hobbies. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe if you guys are new, and we'll see you guys in the next one. See you guys later.